Let's queer up gay culture. What if Marsha P. Johnson wasn't at the Stonewall Riots? As the 55th anniversary of the Stonewall Uprising approaches, the event's legacy is under scrutiny amidst discussions of historical accuracy and symbolic significance. Queer historian Eric Marcus is revisiting the uprising through the 5th season of his podcast, Making Gay History, featuring interviews with those who experienced it firsthand. In a recent email exchange with LGBTQ Nation's Daniel Villarreal, Marcus addressed the ongoing relevance of Stonewall in the face of attempts to marginalize LGBTQ+ narratives. Villarreal raised questions about conflicting accounts of the riots, including the portrayal of Marsha P. Johnson's involvement, prompting a debate over the importance of factual accuracy versus symbolic resonance. He questioned whether the truth of these details holds significance compared to the symbolic power of various retellings. Queer historian Eric Marcus replied, emphasizing the symbolic significance of Stonewall, highlighting its power to inspire. Whether Marsha P. Johnson was at the Stonewall Riots or not is hence an important question, but its answer is not going to change the value of what Stonewall means to us. However, Marcus also underscored the importance of factual accuracy while acknowledging the inadvertent perpetuation of myths within historical narratives. History often crafts the story through a time. Historians debate if that is what may have occurred on June 28th, 1969. I mean, again, it's 55 years. I mean, that's not a long time ago. And it's great that we're now able to kind of revisit in this kind of resource month of a lot of narratives of going back to people that were actually there and are able to share their stories and highlight their experience. I mean, I was just watching the latest season of We're Here on HBO Max, and one of the cities they went to was Selma, Alabama. And it was really powerful to see them talk to women that were there at 13 years old, not really understanding why they were there, but understanding that they needed to be there and hearing them now and just seeing how that and their city and their home has become this sort of, striking point for so much conversation around civil rights and equity and justice, especially in the world that we live now, where that's kind of come back under fire in a very strange way. And I think, Villarreal is doing a really great job, and Marcus as well, is recognizing that, yeah, there's an importance of telling the story, but there's also an importance of inspiring other people, and how do you find that balance, which is really, really important.
Right. So my family's from Selma, Alabama, and the march on, March to Montgomery is a very big part of our family. But my bigger question is the accuracy of history, period.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, you can go back into civil rights and you can say, did Martin Luther King actually show up at this march, or what has happened? It's part of, I believe, the dichotomy that happens with history that's being told verbally and passed down. But my big thing about this, my big takeaway about this, Marsha is huge to me. She's my shero. And I don't care what you're going to dig up on her, she's still a hero. So does it take away from what she stands for?
Right.
And for me, it's not, and we're going to continue to move forward so we can make a difference on this planet. And if you want to bring it up, go ahead and bring it up, but I know what it means to our community, what it means to Black queer people.
Right. Well, think of the significance of the fact that Black women, Black trans, Black gay, Black lesbians, were even more marginalized in the gay community at this time. So we have a riot that started, regardless of whether Marsha was there or someone else was there. We have a representation of not just the white male in New York City for Stonewall, but that it was even back then a much more culturally diverse group that came out, and the fact that women took a role in this is significant. And whether Marsha was there or not is really irrelevant to the idea of what happened that day and where it moved us forward to the point that we've got, gay marriage and things like that we've got more rights in a lot of the states. Granted, we're under attack right now, and all that could change on this next election, but that we've got, there's something to talk about, and getting caught up in whether she was there at 5:04 or 5:07 is irrelevant. And we live in a world where there are so many people that talk about fake news, and their news is fake because you hear them say what they actually said, and they said, I never said that. Well, here, we're going to run the tape back. Here, it doesn't matter. The significance of the event itself speaks for itself.
Yeah. Is this author gay? Is he gay? The podcaster, is he gay?
I believe
good question.
so, but I'm not sure.
But
Let
why
me
are
check
we
with the
trying
studio.
to...
No, I'm not getting any message from...
I grew up on Cape Cod with one of the guys, the husband of the Democratic Town Committee, Dave Velasco, was actually a Stonewall Riot vet. So I got to hear all about Stonewall as a young person. I read Martin Duberman's book, and prepping for this, I also started looking at other notes on what thing. And I knew before I got in that you can ask 5 different Stonewall vets what happened. You're going to get 25 different answers. It's a classic New York story of loud characters, a lot of commotion. It was a riot. Like, how many Americans have actually been to a real riot? It's very chaotic. So we're not sure what.
Never been to one of my Christmas parties.
So we don't really always know. I was surprised to hear Marsha P. Johnson because most people don't dispute that she was there.
Right.
People have disputed what she did. She's said on the radio that she didn't throw the first brick. Others did allege that she climbed up the building and threw something on a police car. So, like, maybe that happened, maybe it didn't. Maybe she doesn't want people to know that.
Right.
But again, irrelevant.
But we also can't ask her because of the mystery surrounding her death in New York City.
Yeah,
Exactly.
No, that's true.
Huge.
So now there was also controversy of whether Sylvia Rivera was there or not, but she's also another huge, amazingly fun, loud personality. And when, it's whether or not she was there, she also contributed so much, founding star and everything that she's another one who we can't ask either of them anymore. No. She died in 2002.
Right. And, we're in the middle of the anniversary, and suddenly we're redirecting the conversation about whether somebody was there or not, as opposed to the impact of what that day meant and what it means to the Pride festivals throughout the entire month of June.
And it actually was 3 nights. Most people don't even realize there was 3 nights of riots. Like, we don't always. That is an important thing.
Hanukkah lasts 7.
Are you saying that next Stonewall we should do 7?
No. It's not a competition.
One of the things that really ticked me off is that it's a woman of color. And here we go again, trying to bring down something that is very dear to a marginalized community within a marginalized community.
Right.
And so why are we not building up our community as a whole, as one, instead of saying, okay, that didn't happen and this person wasn't here and this, screw that. Let's move forward together.
When it's like you were
That's
saying,
very important. Sorry, go ahead.
I was like, it's like you were saying earlier, she's your Shira, whether she was there or not, like, she's still an important person for you.
Right.
And especially in this new time period where we have so many young people that now are part of the LGBTQ plus community, them being able to understand why these significant people are lifted up and prioritized as these significant, like, Shiroic or heroic figures because of the stories that they tell and because of what they stood for and what they did and the impact they led. Right. I think that, again, that symbolic significance is so vital to this conversation. And she was a real person, and she was a part of the New York community. So that in of itself should speak
But these
volumes.
stories are, we're going to move on, but these stories are really important because it talks about history. Yeah. And again, like we keep seeing history rewritten, blacks should be thankful because we gave them a skill set. So when we released them as slaves, they were like, get out there and do something.
There was some really positive things happened in slavery.
Right, yeah. So like there's so much crazy with it, and then we're in a state that's trying to like basically eliminate black history in the books. So like us telling these stories and sharing them and people reading about history, and it's so important because we don't know what's going to happen next year after the election, and we don't know what they're going to do. I mean, it was frightening in the 30s when Hitler came to power, and no one said, "Oh, they'll never erase all those books," and they burned them all. So, holding on to this and telling the stories, whether it's telephone and it's slightly changed, the significance of what happened remains the same. Okay.